This whole conversation, not only is the conversation crazy, Steve Bannon is a very intelligent person. I'm gonna read this. This is a crazy transcript. Have I said this before? Roger Stone is a very smart guy, right? He's a very smart dude. As crazy as he is, he knows his shit, and he's got his hands in everything. I don't know much about Steve Bannon. Like, I don't know if Bannon is a smart dude or is a whatever, you know, just an ideologue or whatever. That Mother Jones audio leak. So I'd heard this. Obviously, I'm including this because it shows a ton of it shows a ton of forethought into what was going to happen on election night, right? Like, it's very obvious. People know, you know, what's being set up.
And what Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory, but that doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner.
I think we've listened to this on stream before. But so I was curious. It says leaked audio from Mother Jones. And I was kind of curious, like, okay, well, what else is, like, has this full call leaked or has this full audio leaked? I'm so curious, like, what the is the context of this? This transcript for this Bannon conversation is f***ing wild. And I don't know why Mother Jones, I don't know if they didn't get a hold of the entire audio or something. I don't know how they would only have a transcript, but this whole conversation, not only is the conversation f***ing crazy, Steve Bannon is a very intelligent person. Like, he navigates the field of politics with way more intentionality and way more political savvy than I would have ever imagined. Maybe he's just at his best here. Or maybe he just says some things that happen to be correct in this transcript. Actually, you know what? You guys, this is my life now, so we will read this. I'm going to read this. This is a crazy transcript. This is a Halloween 2020 meeting in which Steve Bannon explained that Donald Trump planned to declare victory on election night, regardless of the actual results. He was not supposed to be a big deal. The gathering was intended for Bannon to help associates of his patron, exiled Chinese mogul Guo Wengui, plan election night coverage on GTV News, one of Guo's media companies. But Bannon wanted to talk. He explained repeatedly that Trump would announce early that he had won. Okay, so that's what this is about, basically, okay? This is the full transcript of the leaked audio, lightly edited for clarity. Click on the highlighted text to read annotations. Bannon. Within the first hour, from 7 to 8, 1 hour, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 battleground states that will close their polls and start reporting. Now, here's what happens. It hits hard at first, and then it slows down, right? As they start arguing about the mail-in ballots, right? Remember, there's 3 alternatives here, 3 scenarios. Number 1, Biden gets a knockout blow on Tuesday night and wins outright. In other words, we lose Florida and lose. Well, it could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we stopped it because of the woman says whistleblowers. Bannon, the whistleblowers, the hard drive from hell, the laptop from hell stopped his momentum. But he was very close to winning outright then and shutting down Trump. The hard drive from hell stopped his momentum and drove up his negatives. In American politics, it's very hard to get your approval ratings up, as you see with Trump. Trump's approval ratings never goes very high to 50, but the way you can drive an opponent's negatives way up, and that's what we did on the hard drive from hell. The hard drive from hell was the inflection point of this campaign because Biden went into hiding. So there were 3 alternatives before that happened. Number 1, the worst one, is Trump would lose on Tuesday night. He'd lose Ohio and Florida and Arizona. Well, that's what they were planning on, right? And then the second scenario is that it's too close to call, and then it goes on for days and days and days and weeks, right? And that's where you start counting the votes in Arizona and in Florida and all these things. The third scenario is Trump is ahead. He's won Ohio. He's leading in Florida. He's leading in Pennsylvania. He then is leading in Arizona. And what Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory, but that doesn't mean he's a winner. He's just going to say he's a winner. Then we go into all the chaos of the counting. And it takes a while the probability Trump could win it outright on Tuesday night is very small. Maybe it could happen. If that happens, it's going to be great. So my point for the broadcast is we have a number of assets that we can use to make the telecast a global telecast. Number one, we have top pollsters, Richard Barris, super guy, real detailed analytics, and he subscribes to the service called Decision Desk, which is throughout the country, gets all the raw feed right from the state secretary of states and the things, and they're the ones that do the exit polls. So he's got a service like Associated Press that feeds right into his thing in Gainesville. Florida, he has Gainesville, Florida. He has a tally, and we're gonna have a camera hooked up to the tally. So when you guys sit there and go, it's 7, Ohio's close, and the first things start coming in, you guys say, hey, Richard, Trump's leading in Ohio, but tell us the details. Up on the screen will come his tally of the state of Ohio, and he'll actually have a screen that'll have Cleveland, and he'll be able to go into the details of where Trump's winning, where Biden's winning, and then you can ask him questions, and he'll answer all that, okay? So you'll have that ability. Chinese conversation. Bannon. So you'll have a complete polling, and he'll have a whole team. So you'll have complete polling, and if you ask him, tell me about Arizona, boom, he'll pop Arizona up on the thing. You can start asking, tell me about Maricopa County, right? And he just polled, by the way, he just finished his poll, 3,800 people over 3 weeks in Arizona. He has Trump up by 2, which is pretty good, right? Because everybody else has Trump losing. But he breaks it down to Maricopa County, Pima County, Pinal County, the northern part of the state. He's got excruciating detail. And on election night, you can basically sit there. Let's just take Arizona randomly, but you can sit there and go, tell me what's happening in Maricopa County. He can sit down there and actually, for your audience, pull up Arizona, look right at Phoenix and give you the details of how it's going. So he's very smart, super data oriented. Woman. Chinese people are not quite familiar with the specific cities in each state. So can you give us more detail? Can you just choose some? Yeah, he'll do that. Yes. But then if you have any questions, and he can even put on Posibik, he does a lot of work with Bannon and other people here, the Jack Posibik guy, the traitor guy that got kicked out of the Navy. One America's allowed us to have Posobiec for that evening because we're on top of One America. He's going to go down and be on their broadcast, and he may be linked in ours, but he speaks perfect Mandarin. Does he actually? What? He can sit right there with you guys. Jack Posobiec, he speaks perfect Mandarin, so he can sit right there with you and help you in going through the broadcast. I hadn't read some of the more boring parts. Wait, what? Posobiec. Okay, I didn't know that. Jesus Christ. He will sit with us, ... question mark. He's going to be there physically. He was going to be in Philadelphia, but he's coming back just because I said we're going to do a Chinese language broadcast, and so he wanted to be there. Yeah, he can do the GTV. The second asset you're going to have, so you've got complete polling, anything you want, and if somebody's off screen, you say, hey, tell me, it looks like it's going badly for Trump. What's the forecast for, Florida or something like that, because they're later in the evening. Any question you've got for these guys, we'll have a producer there. You can go to the data guys and they'll come back to you with an answer. So the Chinese audience will have a more sophisticated data analysis than CCTV, much more. This guy's woman says something in Chinese. Bannon. So you'll have all the assets, and in fact, we're going to do a dry run tomorrow. Monday with you guys, introduce you to Barris Wright, and we just kind of go through. You can ask him some questions. What I'll do is, I'll get the polling for all the states. He's now done Minnesota tonight. He's done Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, all the key battleground states. He's done intense data analytics already. Does he see the results? No, not results. He pulls projection. Remember, the polling right now is all projected about what's going to happen. But what he's doing, because so many votes, remember, 2/3 of the votes have already been taken in Arizona. Arizona's vote by mail, right? I think 60% of the votes are in or something. Yeah, the votes are, isn't Arizona almost all mail-in ballots? Primarily, yeah, I'm saying so. He's doing the data analytics, so he can give you, the reason I'm using this guy in 2016, he was really the only guy that really, he and the guy from Susquehanna were really the only two guys who knew what was going on. And the reason is he doesn't do traditional polling. He does a much more deeper dive on the data, so that's why I like him. But you'll have that asset is more sophisticated than CNN. He's more sophisticated than CCTV, so you'll be competitive with CCTV and actually be much more sophisticated as far as, what's actually happening out there with the voting. Woman speaks Chinese. Bannon says. The second thing you'll have is, remember, this is going to be a very crazy night. You can already see, in fact, you guys are already inside. You're going to be inside the blank. They're going to cordon off. This is why they canceled the thing at the Trump Hotel. There's essentially going to be a riot down by your hotel. That's where all the Antifa guys are coming. You're at the W right across from the Treasury Department, right? The woman says, yeah. Bannon. Yeah, the old Washington Hotel. You're at the W, right? So the Washington Hotel, the W's right there, the Treasury Department is right there, and the White House is right here, right? Lafayette Park is right there, the statue of Jackson is right there, Trump Hotel is right here, right? They've canceled the victory party at Trump Hotel. It's been canceled, already canceled, because of the violators. Bannon. They say it's because of the coronavirus and the only 50 only 50. The real reason is that there's going to be, they think, if you notice, everything is getting boarded up. They think there's going to be 20 or 25,000 Antifa that'll surround the White House, particularly if Trump is leading. Right? Oh, no. It's going to be, you're going to have the National Guard out. You're going to have, in fact, when you leave your hotel, you got to make sure you get a pass, because what they're going to do is cordon off. They're going to create a perimeter. That perimeter is probably going to go a block on the other side of your hotel. That perimeter is, I think the National Guard's going to be there with military vehicles. And what they're going to do is make sure no Antifa can come inside, so that the Willard Hotel, the W Hotel, Trump Hotel are safe. But they didn't think that any of the VIPs would go to Trump. Sorry, hold on. It gets into more political stuff later. I'm just reading it all, so I'm not skipping or missing anything. But they didn't think that any of the VIPs that would go to Trump would not be able to get out, so Trump just canceled. He's going to stay at the White House. My point is, we're going to have Bill McGinley, who we have on the show all the time. Hold on. I just saw a Forethoughts question. Writing it down. Okay. And Bill will probably be there in person. He's the top lawyer because what's going to happen is there's probably going to be no winner on Tuesday night, because all these votes have to be counted, right? Remember, the key here is we already have, as of tonight, 60 million mail-in votes. We've never processed more in our country than 10 or 15 million. So just the count, physically opening it up and making sure the signatures match and the addresses match, that certification, and there are going to be lawsuits flying starting on Tuesday. They're going to have lawsuits at the poll watchers. They're going to have lawsuits. They're going to say Trump's trying to suppress the vote. Trump's doing this. And so you're going to have a legal expert. You're going to be able to turn to Bill McGinley, and he's going to be able to explain to the Chinese audience, here's exactly what's going on. Right here, they're using the courts. The Democrats are going to use the courts. They call it lawfare. They've already got, 500 lawsuits ready to go now, ready to go, ready to file. They've already got the plaintiffs. In other words, they have people in Philadelphia and Detroit, principally African Americans. They already have it filled out. They're going to walk into court and say, these Trump guys were suppressing my votes. They were too close to the polling place. Oh yeah, this is going to get nasty, because what they're trying to do is extend out the period that you can count votes. What happened in Arizona in 2018 is that Martha McSally on election day, remember, she won. She was up by 20 or 25,000 votes, but they had all these mail-in votes that hadn't been counted. When they counted all the mail-in votes, her opponent beat her by like 15 or 25,000 votes or something like that. They just keep counting, and then they go to court to sue to kind of continue to count. It's a mess. It's very complicated, but it's like warfare. This is a major part. So you're going to have McGinley. You'll have a data guy that'll tell you how the voting's going. You'll have a legal guy that'll tell you how the war is going, right? The legal war. And then the last thing we're going to provide, and then Chinese woman says, I'll explain that in Chinese. Physically, he'll be here, right? Right now, unless he's at, he and Rudy, unless they're at the White House because they're part of the president's legal team, if he's at the White House, he'll come in through Skype. If he's taking a break from the White House, he's going to at least start the evening with us. So the first couple of hours, he'll physically be there. He could sit in a chair, talk to you, be off camera, get you up to speed, whatever. Anytime the legal aspect here is going to be huge, because this thing's not going to end on Tuesday night. Tuesday night's the start of a tough process that the lawyers are going to be a part of, and that's why he's part of Rudy's team. Rudy's the senior lawyer for the president, coordinating all of it. In fact, Rudy got in here today. We've been meeting all day, so McKinley is his right-hand man. And to the degree that he'll have to be at the White House, he's going to be on set with us. Okay, so he can come up at night, right? Yes. Well, what'll happen is that he'll start the night with us. What I think will happen, 10, I think what we think's going to happen right now is different than 3 weeks ago. Since we've stopped Biden's momentum and made him weaker, we think that Trump's going to win Ohio. He's going to be leading in Florida, and we think he's going to be leading in Pennsylvania because there's no mail-in ballots counted yet, right? Leading, and then we think in North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, he's going to either be close enough or leading, and he's just going to go in. Remember, this is with just like 20% of the vote counted. Trump's just going to walk in and go, I'm the winner. Oh, yeah. And it's going to cause a meltdown. And that's why his lawyers are going to have to. And they'll probably happen at a 10 or 11 at night. So McGinley will probably can stay with us from 7 to 8 to 9. I think he'll go back to the White House. Woman speaks Chinese. Man says, is that when Rudy or McGinley or Rudy? Well, I think we'll get Rudy hopefully over at 7 and then send him down to the White House. So Rudy's probably going to be off earlier than McGinley. Bannon, yes. Woman Chinese, Bannon. At the start of the show, you'll probably have access to Rudy. We'll probably have Rudy down for the first hour, and then Rudy will go to the White House. And then Rudy can come onto your show down at the thing. He's just in meetings. We'll get him. He's now physically here, so we'll get him down to the W and be on the set. Which day can we go to W? That's the hotel. It'll be a little crowded, not crowded. We have a conference room side. Bannon says, right when you walk in, oh, perfect. The last asset we've got that we'll have available to you, if you want it for the broadcast, is that we have somebody, remember, here we have a presidential election. We have the entire House of Representatives, so 535 congressmen, to see if Nancy Pelosi keeps her job. And then you have 1/3 of the Senate. Every 2 years, 1/3 of the Senate comes up. The Senate's absolutely critical, particularly for anti-CCP stuff, right? And we have one guy, Adam Brandon, who's going to be there, who's a specialist just in the Senate, so you can bring him over and talk about Lindsey Graham. You can talk to him about all the Senate races that are going up, and he's an expert. And there's some Senate races that are really are very important. Number one, you got Kelly in Arizona, who's pro-CCP, right? He's a business partner of CCP. We want to make sure that he's defeated by McSally, and she's losing, right? That's going to be a very important race for us. And then Lindsey Graham in South Carolina. Lindsey Graham's super anti-CCP and a big ally of the president, but he's in real trouble. So there's about 4 or 5 of those Senate races that directly apply to what we're trying to accomplish with the CCP. And so those, we have a guy who's a specialist. He can come in and sit and talk to you about the Senate race, etc. He's named Adam Brandon. We're going to send you all of this. He had introduced him from his broadcast before. He's Americans for Prosperity, and Adam Brandon is a chairman of Americans for Prosperity. That's right. Oh, no. Freedom Works, super Trump guy. He'll say that he has shares on his Twitter. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, hold on. This isn't important. They're just talking about people that'll show up for the election night. So they're coordinating, I guess, like a broadcast here for Chinese media. Chinese media broadcaster. So you'll have Lafayette Park, and then you'll have Black Lives Matter Plaza here, where the church is, where they do all the burning. Then they have around here, they're going to cordon it off, I think, so that the VIP hotels of Trump and Willard and the W can at least get back and forth to the White House and where they're going. Now, I believe this is what they're going to do. They're going to have, you're going to have a pass to get into through a secure fence area blockade, right? So with a hotel, we got to make sure your security just has the concierge's name. They've given you a pass, and so when you come back in the car, you can actually get through. Woman Chinese crosstalk, Bannon. Here's the reason we got a plan for that, is that the one scenario where they wouldn't be a problem is not going to happen, because I think it's very close. I think it's a very low probability that Biden, woman says, wins. Bannon says on that night. GTV is not a Chinese station media or Chinese states media. It's GUO's private platform. Oh, okay. That would make sense. I don't think Bannon has any love for China, right? I don't know if Bannon has any love for Russia either. I don't think. But I haven't dug enough into Bannon's past. But yes, I don't believe this isn't Chinese state media or anything. I don't believe so. So, okay. Bannon says that Biden wins on that night. Remember, the key is Tuesday night. I think we took care of, because 3 weeks ago, it looked like Biden could win on Tuesday night, right? He could win Ohio. He could win Florida. If he wins Ohio or Florida, game over. Doesn't matter what happens in Arizona. Trump absolutely has to win those 2 states early, or at least be in it, win Ohio, and be ahead in Florida. I think we took that off the table. So my point is, any peaceful resolution to this is probably gone. Because the other 3 alternatives, either Biden's up slightly and Trump says he stole it, right, and he's not leaving, or it's undefined and we can't figure out who's leading and Trump says he's stealing it and he's not leaving, or Trump's leading, which is the one they're going to burn the city down after, because, and this is what's going to happen, I think right now in the polling, Trump's doing good in Ohio. And remember, Ohio closes at 7:30. It's early. It's an early reporting state. Florida is at 8, and you'll know that. So by 9 or 10, you'll have a real sense of where this is. As it sits here today on Saturday afternoon, 10 or 11 o'clock, Trump's going to walk into the Oval Office, tweet out, I'm the winner, game over, suck on that, right? And literally, they're going to try to burn the city down. It's going to explode. Woman says something in Chinese. Bannon says, well, it's remember, yes, it can be prevented. He's called out the National Guard, so we have essentially the army here. But remember, we're in hostile territory. This is like the Civil War. The Democrats control Washington, D.C. It's all Washington, D.C. Although it's a federal city, it's controlled by Democrats. Remember, one of the reasons the rioting's been so bad here is that they just back the police off. The police just walk back and just, they burn Georgetown, they loot the stores, and nobody does anything. The cops don't do anything. And remember, what they want to show is that Trump can't govern the country. So what they're trying to show is that Trump's a fascist. He's a dictator. He's no better than Xi. He's just declaring victory, and these kids are just trying to protest the fascism, right? That's why they're Antifa. So that whole demonstration is to show the rest of the country Trump can't govern, and we're not going to let him govern. If he's going to continue on, we're going to do this every day. So that's why it's going to be crazy. So just to get you guys back and forth to the hotels and everything like that, we just have to make sure we get security, and that security's totally dialed into the hotel management. But I would definitely bring, when you come, I would bring an overnight bag just in case. Okay, tomorrow we'll go and buy some more Chinese talk, something about Antifa blocking the way. I think that I would know, plan on being there for a couple days. You're definitely going to be able to get out, but it's going to be a little, given the scenario, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what can we still do? Can we still do the broadcast with you from our hotel? Yeah. The next day, you just keep your room. Remember, after Tuesday night, two things will happen. One, Bill McKinley and the others, all the assets we have on the ground in all the states, because it's going to get down to counting the votes, these mail votes, and they're going to be arguing. Think about it. You have 60 million votes. That each vote comes in an envelope. You have to open the envelope, and you argue right there, that signature doesn't match this signature. And they'll say, oh, no, this doesn't have the address. Wrong address. Sorry. Toss it. Boom. And the Democrats are going, no, because most of the Democrats just signed with an X. Oh, no, every ballot. And if you go in and vote, you just drop it in. You're gone. They check you off. You go in and you do your ballot, drop it off, gone, fine. It counts. If you mail it in, it comes in an envelope. And by the way, every state is different. South Carolina, you have to have on the envelope 2 signatures, and you have to have an eyewitness in South Carolina that you actually, So they sit there and they go, well, that signature is wrong. This is wrong. 60 million all have to be counted. This is why they're saying it's going to be, woman says Chinese. Something in Chinese. So the way this thing will probably play out by 2 or 3 in the morning, because remember last time we went at 2:30 in the morning. The woman says, yeah, I was watching it. Was it 2:30 in the afternoon there? 2:30 in the morning, we were declared the victor, right? But remember, that's still not legal. That's just the Associated Press calling it and conceding. Those votes have to be certified by the Secretary of State of each state. That's the complexity. And now everybody's watching. So the next morning, in all likelihood, when you wake up early, let's say you want to get on the broadcast at 7 or 8 in the morning, 3 things are going to be happening. Number 1, it's going to be a media firestorm because the devil Trump has declared himself the winner and the votes are not counted. Number 1. Number 2, in all the battleground states, they're still counting ballots in these rooms with Democrats here and Republicans here screaming at each other, right? And number 3, 500 lawyers are in court filing lawsuits at each state level about how Trump suppressed the vote. Trump's a monster. Trump's terrible. All the votes got to count. Even if they're not signed, it'll be crazy. Woman says, all the Democrats, inaudible. Bannon. Well, the Republican lawyers, we have a group. They're just not as good as the Democrats. Democrat lawyers are just fantastic. They're just better. Our guys are good, don't get me wrong, but remember, Democrats specialize in stealing elections. The whole legal aspect of this, it's funny he would say that after Gore, but the whole legal aspect of this is a way to steal elections, all right? And they're experts. They steal elections all the time. That's what they're experts at. That's why they hate Trump, because Trump's sitting there going, you guys are a bunch of thieves, right? So this is the next morning, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, as I see it right now, will be 10 times more intense than Tuesday. Tuesday, traditionally, on election night, oh, it's nice. They're winning traditionally. They come up with the stakes. That's not this. This is a revolution. This election just triggers more fighting, right? Particularly if Trump, look, 3 weeks ago, it wasn't like this because they were going to knock Trump out. By 10 at night, it'd be over, right? He'd just be arguing about it. But they would have the facts. The fact is, they would have won Ohio. They'd be up in Florida. They'd be up in Arizona. If the Democrats are winning then, you've got no ground to stand on. If you shifted, I think we've shifted enough votes to actually make it uncertain. Particularly, remember, the only count you're gonna have on Tuesday night is really votes that happen that day. Most of the mail-in votes won't get counted for days later. So most of the Democratic votes, because it's all the COVID virus, it's Democrats that don't want to go. They want to mail them in. The Democrats, more of our people vote early that count. Theirs vote in the mail, and so they're going to have a natural disadvantage, and Trump's going to take advantage of it. That's our strategy. He's going to declare himself the winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. You're going to have Antifa, crazy, the media, crazy, the courts are crazy, and Trump's going to be sitting there mocking, tweeting shit out. You lose, I'm the winner, I'm the king, and he'll be all over. He'll be going, where's Hunter? Is Hunter on a crack pipe? No, he'll be, because then it doesn't matter. Remember, here's the thing. After them, Trump never has to go to a voter again. He's going to fire Wray, the FBI director. He's going to say, how about that? Because he's done his last election. Oh, and he's going to be off the chain. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Woman speaking Chinese. Bannon. Yeah, no, I think he's going to fire those guys. As soon as the polling places close, I think he's going, you're fired, gone. FBI, gone. Because Lude has been dumping on poor Wray all week, 2 weeks, right? He's taken something. Will he fire Fauci? Bannon. He'll fire Fauci. He's going to fire Fauci too. All of them. Azar, Fauci, the whole lot. Woman says CIA. Bannon. CIA. DOJ, no, he'll fire FBI, CIA, Secretary of Defense. They don't think he's tough enough on CCP on China. He's going to fire Azar and HHS, and he's going to fire Fauci. He's going to call Fauci in the Oval and fire him right there. Trump doesn't care. He's never going to vote for him again. He's already been president twice. Also, if Trump is losing by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be even crazier. No, because he's going to sit there and say that they stole it. I'm directing the Attorney General to shut down all ballot places in all 50 states. It's going to be nuts. He's not going out easy. Trump, if Biden's winning, Trump is going to do some crazy shit. I mean, it's going to get, let me give you the good news. The good news for you guys, it's probably the most dramatic election we've ever had in American history, right? Because you've got a Capitol just on the edge. You've got the army in here. Think of it. Normally, a Capitol, all the politicians are back home, but the place is packed. You can't get a hotel room. They're partying all week because they're either going to have the party that's winning. Either the Democrats or Republicans are going to win, so somebody's going to make a lot of money, right? All the lobbyists are here. This town's a ghost town. Everybody's left. Only the military and the police are really around. That's number one. Number two, it all deals with the CCP. Remember, the whole virus, the reason we have the mail-in ballots is the virus, right? The reason this election is so screwed up is the virus. The reason the economy, everything. Now, the Democrats don't want to talk about it. If you mention it, you're racist, right? The Republicans, a lot of them want to talk about it, and they don't know why Trump's not talking about it more, right? Then the other thing is the way we blunted, the way we drove up Biden's negatives. The only thing that stopped the momentum was the hard drive from hell, right? The two parts of that were Ludd's editorial creativity over the pictures and really the CCP involvement. That's what shocked the American people. He was taking money. Yeah, taking so much money from the CCP, right? Wang falsely claimed that Hunter Biden's laptop contained images of Hunter engaged in sex acts with underage Chinese girls and that Chinese intelligence had obtained this material. Apparently this was part of the laptop thing. Multiple people, Chinese, talking. Bannon. First off, when the media finds out, they haven't found out yet, when it dawns on them, which will probably be Monday if we leak it, that you have Lude, Rudy Giuliani, and Steve Bannon up on a roof doing a broadcast, they will melt down. They're going to be going, where's Master Puppet Man? Where's Mountain Master? Where's Mountain Master Miles Guo, right? Where's Triad King? Woman speaking Chinese. No, Bannon says. The first photograph, when we get Rudy up there, the night, 7 o'clock, if we do a live thing with me, you, and Rudy with the cap in the background, it'll melt the internet. The Democrats will go crazy. Woman speaks in Chinese. Bannon says, first off, they'll demand all three of us to be arrested. They want the National Guard, the three devils from the hard drive from hell. So we're going to have great. Now, the only thing is it's going to be cold. It's supposed to get down into the 40s, so dress warm. We've got some great tents, huge heaters. We're going to have the thing zipped down so you can get a perfect view of the Capitol. A man says dress in layers. Bannon says, yeah, dress in layers and bring some backup clothes. We've got great food. We got plenty of more beverages, and we'll have some great backup assets. I would love to get as many, if you can get many local, new federal state, Chinese who want to come and work and do the computers. The more we got, the better. I think we'll have a bunch of tables up there. Yeah, we can sit 100 people up there, I think. So I think all the local new federal state people, if they want to just come and watch them on their computers and help out and just push out social content, that would be great. Man speaking in Chinese. Woman. Lude asked about the 21st of September, his broadcast. I think it's been very important that we push. It's been very important since we pushed all that. We pushed all the Hunter content. All came through you. And then you did the first. People's heads are blowing up because some of the allegations are pretty, people are going, but I'm going to send you. I had one of our Indian guys, Dave Ramaswamy, I think no relation, right? Who's fantastic. He's been tracking impressions on the Hunter Biden hard drive from hell versus WikiLeaks in 2016. We passed today the impressions on WikiLeaks. Woman in Chinese. Bannon says, I'm going to show you. Woman speaks Chinese. I'm going to send this to Dr. Yan right now. The best thing is the impressions. This is WikiLeaks in 2016, and that's the hard drive from hell right there. No, not yet reported. We just pulled all this data from Google Trends. So he's talking about comparing how widespread the story is, basically, right? Man speaks in Chinese. Bannon says, oh, no. But Lude, I can tell you, here's the reality, is that in democracies, the quickest way to catch up when you're behind is not get your positives up because people have already formed an opinion. You can talk about, I got a better plan, or I got a healthcare plan, or if Trump had gone after China, his positives would rise. But think about it. Since the day he's gotten in office, we won with 47% of the vote, right? Nationwide. And the way we break it down by states, which is the way we do it in each state, so Arizona has more control of its future, right, than just having a popular vote, you can win with 45 or 46% of the popular vote. But Trump's approvals have never been higher than like 42 or 43% ever. It's within that bandwidth. Even in 2016, people just had to make a decision. They didn't like Trump, but they hated Clinton more. Why? When I came in, I'm the expert at driving negatives up, right? I had been on 10 years on that bitch. Chinese crosstalk. I just beat her. I just beat her every day, right? Yeah, emails, yeah, but also her corruption. I went back to the Clinton scandals and the Clinton thing. We just hammered her every day. She's corrupt. And by the way, because Trump's, he's not a mean guy. He's actually got a big heart. He's kind of soft. That's why he doesn't go after Xi. I don't have that problem. Now, in 2016, that's why I got brought in. I didn't really know Trump. They brought me in with only 90 days to go. He's down by 16 points. It was just to take her, to drive her negatives up and her likability down. Multiple women speaking Chinese, Bannon. Go back to 2016. The problem with Trump, he gets off message. Remember in 2016 when I came in, he was attacking the Muslim family. Remember the Khans? Remember the Khan family that had the son that died and he was Muslim? And he keeps attacking these Muslims that have war hero son that's buried in Arlington National Cemetery. I mean, she's a Gold Star mother. In our country, there's nothing higher than a Gold Star mother. That means your child died in combat. It's like sacred. And Trump's attacking her, right? Because they attacked him from the thing. And that's, he couldn't, no, I said, you can't attack them. They're heroes, right? I said, you got to attack Clinton. That's who you got to attack. It's like, here, Sleepy Joe, he never drove up Biden's negatives. It was only when we got the hard drive and we got it to you, and then the New York Post, here's what the Bidens fucked up. From the day the Post story came out, and then you started pumping out, we got you this stuff, and you just started dumping it out, and the internet started picking it up, and they suppressed it. Remember, the best thing that happened to us was Twitter and Facebook suppressing it, because then everybody wants to see it. It's called the Streisand effect, after Barbara Streisand, right? The more you try to suppress something, the more people want to see it. So they took the sucker's bait, right? That's why when people tell me loot stuff is getting crazy, I go, not crazy enough, because really what they were trying to suppress is not so much the New York Post story. They were trying to suppress the New York Post story leading to people wanting to link to your material, right? That's what the thing was. And that's what that's where you see these numbers, they start to explode, right? And Biden made a fundamental mistake. Instead of coming out and addressing it and attacking back, they hid. Remember, he canceled all for 9 days. He only had 2 events because his staff didn't know how to handle it. And here's why. The Clintons, as bad as they are very tough. They're like mafia. They're like triads, right? They've been doing this for 20 years, and the right's been attacking them all the time. So to have an attack, that's fine. They'll attack back. Biden is very soft. No one's ever attacked him because he's from a tiny state. Delaware? Never. Obama always got the grief, not Biden. Biden's just a glad-hander. This is the first time he's been attacked, and his staff are not very tough. That's why, remember, we hammered this guy every day for 10 days with the worst pictures in the world. Drug addict, taking money from the CCP, from Chinese spies, no response, nothing. And the negatives just keep going up because people are sitting there going, I didn't know that about Joe Biden. But nobody, not one person came out and said, those pictures are not true. Right? Nobody came out and said anything you're saying is not true, even the wildest allegations, because the Biden guys didn't know. Because what we did is we held back the documents, and they're smart enough to know if I go out and defend Biden against lewd and Bannon and these guys drop a bunch of money transfers and documents, I'm gone. And Biden hasn't told me the truth because Biden, they know what's on that server. They've got it up in the cloud. They know what we have, but he made a fundamental decision that stopped his momentum. When Trump got COVID, and when Trump had that first debate, within that 1 week period, Biden could have put him away. The campaign would have been over. Biden would have won with 500 electoral votes, but they didn't do it, and we were able to stop them. So now, I'm not saying Trump's going to win, but we have a fighting chance. Woman. So when Trump got COVID, Trump kept working from the hospital, and also Bannon. Well, remember, for 40% of the country who loved Trump, we loved it, he kept working. But remember, if you put TV on, he's a super spreader. He doesn't care. The one thing that's hurt him in people above 65 years old, which used to be our strength, he's down 20%. And the reason is the above 65-year-olds, they don't think he's taking they agree with you. They think it's a biological weapon, and they'd like it to be treated like that. Trump treats it like a hoax. I mean, Trump, he treats it like it's, and they're sitting there going, if you get it, if you're over 65, you basically think you're going to die, right? Painfully, right? So Trump's biggest drop is not in suburban women. His single biggest drop it's the reason Arizona and Florida are tight. It's because they're the 2 biggest retirement communities we have. The reason we won in Arizona and Florida in 2016 is that we had the above 65-year-old vote. 25% of those people are now going to vote for Biden, or they're going to vote against Trump because they don't think he's taking this seriously. And the other thing is that he's pushing a vaccine. Remember, you have a huge amount of fans who say it's a biological weapon. There is no vaccine, so therefore, whatever you're taking, it's just a variation of the pharmaceutical voodoo that the CCP is pushing, okay? More Chinese crosstalk. Okay, so here's the problem. He's like a little boy. He thinks the vaccines are magic. He believes Bill Gates, he believes the big pharma guys. That's what he talks about. Today, he was talking about we're rounding the turn. We've got a vaccine that's coming in 3 weeks. A lot of people are sitting there going, I hear Dr. Yan. She says there's no vaccine. It's poison. No, seriously, if he took your position, it was a biological weapon or it just came from the lab in a gain-of-function experiment. In China, the CCP is going to be held accountable, and there's no vaccine, but you use therapeutics like hydroxychloroquine, he'd win in a landslide, but he didn't do that. And one of the reasons is the people around him have put in his head, big pharma's got a thing here. The other guys, remember, part of his staff say it's a hoax. Part of his staff say it's no worse than the flu. It's just a hoax, and so it's crazy. Woman says, I thought I see something on Gab because I thought Gab is pro-Trump, but they come to attack him. He said, oh, it's all this. Who was this? Gab, JB, Gab, yeah. Who attacked Jonah Gab? I don't know. Some American people, not Chinese. Remember, there's at least a third of the Trump base that thinks that COVID is a hoax, right? Because Trump is always saying it's basically a hoax, right? Woman. But now Trump, even himself, cannot accept it's a bioweapon. Bannon said, and he's had it, COVID. By the way, he had it. He almost died from it. That first night, he was in bad shape. They came this close to putting him on the ventilator. They had him hitting the remdesivir. I mean, he was in bad shape. He had a temperature. He had a spike in his viral load spike. That's why they sent him over to some hospital. He had it bad. And he still thinks it's a hoax. And he's had it bad. So, I mean, you hear him give updates. He says, we're rounding the bend. He's dying for that vaccine. Half of Trump supporters don't want to take that vaccine because they listen to you. They go, first of all, it's a bioweapon. Number two, we don't even know what the virus is. There's 20 different variations of it. 3, the Chinese have rushed all the research, and these Americans don't trust any of that research, so it could be poison, right? Woman says, yeah, exactly. Even blank from the Chinese TV now in the press, so I think da-da-da. Bannon, I think we hold your thing on CNN until after election night because everybody's just focused on this right now, but we got to have a lot of you. We want a lot of you in the thingamajig talking about we're here because of the CCP virus, right? The mail-in votes are because Democrats, people are stunned. That's what it is. 60 million votes. There's 95 million votes. I think 65 million mail-ins. I think probably like 80 or 90 million are already in, no? Bannon. Total early votes, you know what I'm saying? Of that, 65 million right now are mail-in ballots. That's never happened before. That's all the CCP virus, woman. So there are a lot of people listening to on the Trump base on the show. You have a huge following, and they believe you. They believe it's either gain of function, they believe it's man-enhanced or man-made, and they don't believe that any vaccine is going to cure it right now because we don't know what it is, right? It's basically Dr. Yan's thesis that this was made in a lab. We don't totally know what it is because they haven't turned it over. They haven't studied. Anything they're telling you is a lie. Therefore, anything that the pharmaceutical companies are telling you is basically a lie. And if you do the smart therapeutics like hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, and zinc, you do that and stay healthy, you'll be fine, right? That's probably 60% of the Trump movement. The guys who listen to the show and that believe that, and quite frankly, is the plan. If the president did that, he'd win this election in a landslide because the plus 65-year-olds, woman suggested China releases a new virus every year until we have COVID-30. Bannon, that's a ray of sunshine. People are going to love to hear that. I think you got to bring that up. The other thing that you ought to be able to talk about that night is if Trump fires Fauci and fires Azar, the changes that could come from the way that America approaches the virus. Because right now, CCP is laughing. They're going, hey, we've controlled this, right? We're having parties in Wuhan. We're having a big Halloween party in Wuhan. You guys can't even have your nation's capital have an election. So that's going to be, we ought to bring all that stuff up because viewers love it. At least the American viewers do. And then that's basically it. But it's crazy listening to this is all before the election, right? I cannot imagine. The number one thing that I take out of this is I cannot believe it must have been so frustrating being somebody like Bannon or being somebody like Roger Stone and working with Trump because Trump is so retarded. He's so stupid. And these guys have so much more of a mind for politics. Like Bannon's understanding of the political landscape is so much more sophisticated than Trump, who is an actual child. It's so insane how fucking stupid he is. My God. Who are these Chinese people he's talking to? I think it was just a Chinese broadcast, not CCP, but somebody, some other company that broadcasts to China or whatever. Hold on, there are two things in chat. From Forethought, Destiny, why did Bannon refuse to show up to Congress if he could assert executive privilege, to refuse to provide documents or plead the fifth like Stone? I don't believe that you can you can't assert executive privilege to everything when you're getting an actual criminal subpoena. And you can plead the fifth if you want, but you can still be convicted, right? You can plead the fifth, but that doesn't mean that you can't be convicted of a crime. which both Bannon and Roger Stone were convicted. And then Droger said, why is it that in this particular issue of J6, it is so crucial for people to require more information to make a better opinion about it? It feels like for most issues, common sense carries a lot of weight. But in this case, people either are unable or unwilling to see logic. Common sense or whatever doesn't mean anything. People live in totally different media environments. Remember, people live in complete and totally opposite worlds, right, from each other. What was Bannon convicted of? I think Bannon engaged in fraud and got money from a corporation called from a nonprofit about building the wall. We Build the Wall fundraising campaign. Originally in August of 2020, he was charged on conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering in connection with that same case, but he was pardoned by Trump there. But then he got charged in New York State, which Trump can't do anything 2 years later. Do you agree with Bannon that Trump would have won going full COVID bioweapon? Maybe. Remember, the vaccine thing was actually, I think I've even asked questions, I was hearing about that before. Man, I wonder what happened with the vaccine stuff. I didn't understand that. And I guess Bannon actually answered this question because Trump had convinced so much of his audience that COVID was like a bioweapon, that the Chinese had made it, that we didn't have research on it. Why the fuck would you trust a vaccine made by Big Pharma that's like owned by Fauci and does gain of function research? I guess that makes sense. That's why they didn't go along with it. Yeah, I think that his messaging, but again, remember, it's because Trump is legitimately just a fucking moron. Trump had no fucking idea what he was doing. Originally, Trump downplayed it because maybe he really thought that it was just going to be whatever. And then when it was too big and got out of control, he's like, okay, well now we're doing something about it. But he just fucked up. He fucked up so hard on everything. Wasn't he trying with the whole China virus thing and got slammed as a racist xenophobe? Yeah, but that was slammed by the Democrats. Democrats can't attack anything. I don't know why. Their attacks just mean nothing. The problem is the problem is Trump's messaging was just inconsistent. He wanted that vaccine and he wanted credit for it so badly, but he'd already convinced half his audience that it was a Chinese bioweapon. How are you making a vaccine against a Chinese like it just doesn't work? Yeah. How fucked is Bush v. Gore? I haven't looked into it. Bush v. Gore seems pretty fucked. I glanced at it. I very briefly skimmed the surface of it, and Bush v. Gore seems absolutely and totally, utterly fucked. Without getting, oh yeah, we won't branch off into this again. For the first time in my life, also, it's not, oh man, we'll do this. We will go over the Mueller shit. I might say fuck world history. I might just do all U.S. history. Oh, Jesus Christ. Can you explain why? Because it feels like Gore had a legitimate cause for a recount in Florida, and then they basically stopped that process. And they stopped that process. They ordered it basically stopped. And it seemed kind of bullshitty. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think most people agree that Gore would have won this election on a recount, but the Supreme Court killed the they killed the recount. It's a yeah. At Destiny, why can't you make a vaccine against a bioweapon? Is that by definition, or like the Republicans who never believed that you can make one? They probably just wouldn't have believed it because, like, remember, Big Pharma and Fauci are all in bed together, and they're all like part of this bioweapon hoax bullshit, or this bioweapon conspiracy plot, the gain of function research, and all of this, right? So if they're all part of that, then how can you make a vaccine when your own pharmaceuticals and your own like it just doesn't make any sense, right? The fuck, what was the other thing I was gonna bring up? Oh, we're going through that Mueller shit, bro. There absolutely was Russia collusion between Trump's campaign and Russia, like undeniably. The only maybe question is whether or not it got all the way up to Trump himself. Probably did. I read through the Stone indictment. I didn't realize how fucking shameless. The Roger Stone stuff was. I won't read this all on stream, but like, I can just read the intro to this. By in or around May of 2016, the Democratic National Committee and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee became aware that their computer systems had been compromised by unauthorized intrusions and hired a security company to identify the extent of the intrusions. On or about June 14th, the DNC publicly announced that it had been hacked by the Russian government. And then from in or around July 2016 through in or around November 2016, Heel Shit Podcast, thanks for 5 good subs. An Organization 1, which had previously posted documents stolen by others from U.S. persons, I believe this is WikiLeaks, entities and the U.S. government released tens of thousands of documents stolen from the DNC and the personal email account of the chairman of the U.S. Presidential campaign of Hillary Clinton. On or about July 22nd, Organization 1 released documents stolen from the DNC between in or about October 7th. And on or about November 7th, Organization 1 released approximately 33 tranches of documents that had been stolen from the personal email account of the Clinton campaign chairman, totaling over 50,000 stolen documents. Roger Stone was a political consultant who worked for decades in U.S. politics and on U.S. political campaigns. Stone was an official on the U.S. presidential campaign of Donald J. Trump until in or around August of 2015 and maintained regular contact with and publicly supported the Trump campaign through the 2016 election. During the summer of 2016, Stone spoke to senior Trump campaign officials about Organization 1, WikiLeaks, and information it might have had that would be damaging to the Clinton campaign. Stone was contacted by senior Trump campaign officials to inquire about future releases by WikiLeaks. By in or around early August 2016, Stone was claiming, both publicly and privately, to have communicated with WikiLeaks. By in or around mid-August of 2016, WikiLeaks made a public statement denying direct communication with Stone. Thereafter, Stone said that his communication with Organization 1 WikiLeaks had occurred through a person Stone described as a mutual friend, a go-between, and an intermediary. Stone also continued to communicate with members of the Trump campaign about WikiLeaks and its intended future releases. After the 2016 U.S. presidential election, the U.S. House of Representatives Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence opened or announced their respective investigation into Russia interference in the 2016 presidential election. In response, Stone took steps to obstruct these investigations. Among other steps to obstruct the investigation, Stone made multiple false statements to the House about his interactions regarding WikiLeaks and falsely denied possessing records that contained evidence of these interactions, and B, attempted to persuade a witness to provide false testimony to and withhold pertinent information about the investigations. Person 1 was a political commentator. I haven't dug into who each of the people are. Person 2 was a radio host who'd known Stone. It also goes on to talk about how on or about July 25th, Stone sent an email to person 1 with the subject line, "Get to Julian Assange." The body of the message read, "Get to Assange at Ecuadorian Embassy in London and get the pending WikiLeaks emails. They deal with Foundation, allegedly." On or about the same day, a person 1 forwarded Stone's email to an associate who lived in the UK and was a supporter of the Trump campaign. On July 31st, Stone emailed person 1 with the subject line, "Call me Monday." The body of the email read in part that person 1's associate in the UK should see Julian Assange. Person 1 emailed Stone. Person 1 wrote that he was currently in Europe and planned to return in or around mid-August. Person 1 stated in part, "Word is, friend is in embassy, plans 2 more dumps. One shortly after I'm back, the 2nd in October. Impact plan to be very damaging." The phrase "friend in embassy" referred to the head of Organization 1, which is Assange. Person 1 added in the same email, "Time to let more than the Clinton campaign chairman to be exposed as in bed with enemy if they're not ready to drop Hillary Rodham Clinton. That appears to be the game hackers are now about. Would not hurt to start suggesting that Hillary Rodham Clinton, old, her memory is bad, she's had a stroke, neither he nor she well. I expect that much of the next dumps setting the stage for the Foundation debacle." There's so much communication between him and I believe in this indictment as well, he's also directly communicating with, let me see if I can find this. Was it in here? I won't, sorry, I don't want to read through all of these. Oh fuck, is it not in this one? I'm pretty sure he's alleged to have been directly communicating with the Guccifer hacker guy as well, who's the Russian agent that was that had actually hacked the that had actually been involved in hacking the emails from the DNC. Or if he wasn't, he might have used an intermediary for them. But hold on. That's not even the most shameless part about this. The most shameless part about this is Roger Stone went to court and he basically said, listen, I'm not saying shit. I'm not going to squeal on Trump. Fuck, what was his... Oh, I'm trying to remember. Did I save it over here? Hold on. I don't know if I don't think any of this will come on my video because it's just too much. But what is this? There wasn't a single conviction of any crimes related to collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. It was only financial crimes and lying, not proof, no collusion. This 100 level conspiracy stuff. Stop. Trump killed this investigation like 15 different ways. You can always say that there's no proof or whatever, but like there's infinitely more proof on this side for everything being talked about here than literally any. Like if the Democrats did any of this shit, you would probably kill yourself. Your head would explode, right? So Roger Stone was this an interview with Tucker Carlson? He says, I will not plead guilty, or I will plead not guilty to these charges, Stone said, trying to speak over the chance of anti-Trump factions that had assembled outside the courthouse. Quote, this is a politically motivated investigation, end quote. Stone blasted his critics and said that there are, quote, no circumstances, end quote, in which he will, quote, bear false witness, end quote, against his friend Donald Trump, right? Now, keep in mind everything that we just read that this indictment alleged, what this was about, right? Communicating between Trump's campaign and between the Russians for timing these like WikiLeaks drops, and then for intimidating a witness. Let me see what the charge is called. It's given false testimony. I don't know if it's just considered obstruction. Oh no, wait, the counts are listed here. So it's an obstruction count. Counts 2 through 6 were lies. He just fucking lied about like his communications with Assange and people next to Assange. And then count 7 was witness tampering, right? So he goes into court saying he's never going to bear false witness to Trump. He goes into court saying that, okay? He gets crushed, all right? I'm pretty sure, I think in front of a jury, he's convicted on all 7 counts. He gets obliterated immediately. And then almost immediately after, Donald Trump gives him clemency. He basically commutes his entire sentence. And then right after, on December 23rd, 2020, then Trump gives him a full pardon. He grants him clemency so that the thing is essentially gone. It's like Roger Stone's whole story is unbelievable. It's actually unreal. Everything involving this guy, him and his relationship with Trump and everything else. But anyway, there's just a random shit. Sorry. I don't have time to add any more shit because I don't, but it's just like, there's just every single one of these people is crazy. It's brazy. Somehow everyone just believed Trump when he said no collusion, no obstruction, despite there clearly being both collusion and obstruction. The fact that it's known now as the Russia hoax is so sad. Yeah, it's fucking insane. Yeah. Make a second Mueller investigation focused video. I don't know. This isn't like my forte. I'm a streamer, okay? You have the same amount of evidence for the Hillary email scandal, LOL. No, you don't. I don't know why you would ever compare that ever. Every single person around Donald Trump is pleading the fifth, is not testifying, is asserting executive privilege, is cooperating with officials as much as possible at every single step of the way. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton literally sat down. She did her interviews. I don't think she ever pled the fifth that I'm aware of. Like they every single part of her staff was cooperating through and through with police the entire fucking time. It's not even remotely comparable. You can say that maybe you can say, well, they were all rigged against her anyway, or something was rigged, or it was all crazy anyway. You can say something is like it's all a huge fucking conspiracy if you want, but it's not the same. They're not even remotely close. You've been putting so much work into these research docs, it feels a shame to only use them to stop retards in debates. Well, but there's a reason why, right? And I understand, unfortunately, all of this reading is wasted. No, I shouldn't say it's wasted, but it'll never come up in debates. But I think the fact that it never comes up in debates, I think that means something. I think it's because now your average like frontline Republican is a retard. No offense. Like this guy donating to me in YouTube chat has drank the Kool-Aid. Okay, but the people that are serving the Kool-Aid know that they're serving Kool-Aid. They know it's bullshit. And there's a reason why they would never defend anything against somebody that's actually read any of these documents. They'd never try to defend this publicly. Not a single one of these people ever. Because they know that they would get absolutely blown the fuck out into outer space on this shit. The pushback I get on that is that pleading the fifth is your constitutional right, and legally you can't assume any guilt because of it, at least in a criminal trial, right? So what? What do you mean? You can plead the fifth if you want. We're just talking about what we think are we're not talking, I don't convict somebody by saying, oh, this guy probably did this, right? I can judge you personally for pleading the fifth, obviously. That doesn't mean you should be convicted for it. It's just the fact that all of this will be disregarded by retards who just read Facebook infographics and tweets from right-wing hacks. Sure, but I mean, I don't know what you can do about that. People need to start getting banned from some of these media companies. Candace Owens, these people need to be delisted and deplatformed from fucking everything. Hold on one second.